Hello students, so we'll be discussing about the IPC nomenclature of cyclic compounds in this video. In the previous video, we've discussed about the IPC nomenclature, the rules, and we have discussed some examples for acyclic compounds, means straight chain compounds. Okay, so in this video, we'll be discussing about cyclic compounds. So in cyclic compounds, what you have to do, you have to check the number of carbons that is present. Okay, if number of carbons in the closed chain is higher than that of the open chain, then the closed chain will be your parent chain and the open chain will be your substituent. Okay, and say you have two cyclic compounds, say two cyclic rings connected, say like this. Just you just see, say for example this one, say you have a 6-membered ring and you have a 4-membered ring. Okay, so like this. So then also what you have to do, you have to count the number of carbons. Say in this one you have 4 carbons, in this one you have 6 carbons. Okay, so this 6-carbon ring is your parent ring and this one 4-carbon ring is your substituent. So for this one it will be cyclobutyl cyclohexane. Okay, this is a 4-carbon cyclic ring, so it is cyclobutane, and this is a 6-carbon, it is cyclohexane. So this is the parent chain, so it will be written afterwards, and this is the substituent, so it will be written before. Okay, so this is the first rule that you have to follow. And the second rule what you have to follow, say if you have functional groups present. Okay, say if you have functional group present, then the functional group you have to check that in which chain it is present. If it is present in the open chain will be your parent chain and the cyclic ring will be your substituent. If you have functional group present in the cyclic ring, then cyclic ring will be your parent chain. Okay, so let us come to these examples. Say the first one you have a 6-membered cyclic ring and you have a 2-membered open chain. Okay, now see this number of carbons in this open chain is less than that of the cyclic ring. Okay, but in the open chain you have a double bond means it is a say multiple bonds. Okay, so since double bond is present in the open chain, that's why what will happen, this will be your parent chain. Okay, so it is ethene, so it will be written afterwards, say in suffix, and in the prefix you will write cyclohexyl, means the cyclic ring will be your prefix. Okay, this is the first example. Second thing, you see this one, say let us take this example. In this one you have a 4-membered ring and a 4-membered chain and you have a 6-membered ring. Okay, now see in this 4-membered ring you have a CH3 functional group, and this 6-membered ring also you have a CH3 functional group. Now both the functional groups are same in both the chains. Okay, both the open chain and the closed chain have a CH3 functional group, so it is same. Okay, now you just count the number of carbons. This ring has a higher number of carbons, so that's why the ring will be your parent chain cyclohexane, and this straight chain, since it is a 4-carbon chain, so it will be your what do you call, yeah, it will be your substituent. Okay, so since it is a separate, it also has a functional group, so we'll write it in brackets. So in one position you have methyl butyl means it is a 4-carbon chain, so it is a butane, and in one position you have a methyl, so it is methyl butyl, and in this cyclic ring also you have a methyl group, so it is 2-methyl cyclohexane. Okay, so numbering will be same thing, you have to do the numbering so that the functional groups or substituents get the least possible number. Okay, you just see this this example now, this numbering is little bit incorrect, not little bit, it's fully incorrect. You just see this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 now, so this will be opposite way. Okay, it will not be this way, this is wrong. Okay, it is opposite way, it will be like this. Say in this position you have CH3. Okay, so numbering will be in this way. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6, because if you go from in anti-clockwise direction now, then only you will get this functional group say substituent more easily. Okay, so this is incorrect, this numbering will be like this. So let us come to the third example. Say this one, say in this one you have a double bond in the ring. Okay, so the ring will be your parent chain. Okay, So parent, ring will be a parent chain. So this is a ethyl substituent, okay, 2 carbon, so it is one position you have ethyl cyclohexene. Okay, if you write one, if you don't write one, it is same. So it is ethyl cyclohexene. Okay, in this one you have a 5 carbon ring and a 3 carbon chain. So what will happen, this chain has having lesser number of carbons, so it will be becoming the substituent, so it is propyl cyclopentane. Okay, then this one you have a 6 carbon chain and you have a 5 carbon ring. So chain has more number of carbons, so ring will be your this one substituent. So in 2 position you have the ring, so 2 position you have cyclopentyl, and in the chain you have a methyl group in the 4th position. Okay, this is a CH3. So this is 2 cyclopentyl, 4 methyl, and 6 carbon, so it is hexane. Okay, then you have this one, you have a 6 carbon ring and a 5 carbon ring. Okay, now you see this 5 carbon ring as a amine substituent. So since substituent is present in the smaller ring, so smaller ring will be your parent ring, so it will be cyclopentanamine, and in the substituent you have cyclohexane. Okay, so in this way you just follow these 2 rules and you'll be able to write IUPAC nomenclature for any cyclic compound. Okay, so you just these 2 rules, if you follow, it is easier to write, and just do some examples from any textbook you get. Okay, so next we will be discussing about the IUPAC nomenclature for bicyclic compounds. Okay, bicyclic compounds, the structure is like this, that we will use the prefix bicyclo, and then we will write the number of carbon atoms present. So carbon atoms, say if you have 5 carbon, it is pentane, 6 carbon hexane, 10 carbon decane, so that will be written in the suffix. Okay, and in the prefix we'll use this term bicyclo. Okay, and then in between both the suffix and the prefix, what we will do, we'll write the number of carbon atoms present on both sides of the bridge. Say bicyclic compound means this type of compounds. Okay, means 2 cyclic rings are connected and they are joined between 2 atoms. Okay, they are joined between 2 atoms. Okay, so these 2 atoms are called your bridging atoms, and this bond is called your bridge. Okay, so bicyclic compounds, what you will do, you will just write the, first you will write the prefix bicyclo, and then you will write in square brackets, you will write the number of carbons present on both sides of the bridge, and then you will write the parent hydrocarbon name. Okay, so in this thing, say first let us take this example. So in the first example you have this one, say this is the bridge. Okay, and on this side of the bridge you have 4 carbons, and in this side of the bridge also you have 4 carbons. Okay, and in middle you see, in this bridge means 2 carbons now, and in between these 2 carbons you don't have any other carbon atom present. Okay, so in the prefix we will write bicyclo, and suffix we will write decane because total 10 carbons are present in this compound. Okay, so in this compound you have total 10 carbons present, so it is decane. Now you see, this is the bridge, and both sides of the bridge you have 4 carbon atoms, and in this in between the bridge carbon atoms you don't have any atom. Okay, so this is 440. So this is the numbering. Say numbering is done in decreasing order. Say first you will write bicyclo, then in square bracket you will write numbers means 3 numbers will be coming. Say on both sides of the bridge how many carbon atoms are present, you have to just write that number. Okay, and you will write it in descending orders, means larger number to smaller number. Okay, and then you will write the suffix, means the parent hydrocarbon name. Okay, so this second example you see, this is the bridging carbons. Okay, so in this side, in the left hand side you have two carbons, in the right hand side also you have 2 carbons, and in the say in between the bridging atoms you have 1 carbon atom. Okay, so for this one name will be bicyclo 221 heptane, because total 7 carbon atoms are present, so it is bicyclo 221 heptane. Okay, same this one you have 211, so it is bicyclo 211, and total if you count you have 6 carbons, so it is hexane. Okay, then this one, say this is a substitute bicyclic compound. Okay, if substituents are present in the bicyclic compound, what you have to do, you have to number in such a way that the substituent gets the least number. Same thing, just what we followed in IPC nomenclature for straight chain compounds. Now, say numbering is done like that, so that this substituents of functional groups of multiple bonds, they get the least possible number. Okay, so numbering, how we'll do, you'll start the numbering from the bridging atom, say bridging carbon atom. So bridging carbon atom, you give 1, then this side it will go to the right hand side because you have a Cl substituent. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then we'll go at the end you will number the central, say in between the bridging carbon atoms. If you have more carbon, then that will number at the end. Okay, so it will be, say 2 position you have chlorine, so 2 chloro bicyclo, then in this side you have 2, other side also 2, and in between we have 1, so it is 2 2 1 heptane, because total 7 carbons are present. Okay, then this next example, you say you have a carboxylic acid functional group. So carboxylic acid is always written at the end. Okay, it is always as a suffix, used as a suffix. So its name will be starting with bicyclo. Then you see in left hand side you have 2 carbons, right hand side also you have 2 carbons, and in center you have 3 carbons. Okay, means in between first carbon and fifth carbon you have, means in between the bridging carbon atoms you have 3 carbon atoms. So it will be 3 2 2. Now total you have 9 carbon atoms, so it will be non 8 position you have a double bond, non 8 in, and in 6 position you have a carboxylic acid functional group. So this is the IPC nomenclature of this compound. Okay, numbering is same, just you have to follow the numbering so that the functional group gets the least possible number, and then multiple bonds, and then if any substituent is present. Okay. Now this last example, you see it is also same. You have a carboxylic acid functional group, and on both side, in the right hand side you have 2 carbons, left hand side you have 1, and central part you have 2 carbon atoms. So it is bicyclo 2 2 1 hept 7 heptane 7 oic acid. Okay, heptanoic acid. So in this way you can write IPC nomenclature for bicyclic compounds. Okay, and let us come to the last part. In the last part we have spido compounds. Okay, bicyclic compounds, you see, are those compounds where 2 carbon atoms are used for joining 2 rings. Okay, just like this. Okay, but in spido compounds, what you will have 1 carbon atom joining 2 rings, like this. Okay, 2 rings will be joined by 1 carbon atoms, then it is called a spido compound. If 2 rings are joined by 2 carbon atoms, then it is called a bicyclic compound. Okay, so this one, the rule is same exactly just like bicyclic compounds. Just what you will do, in the prefix you will use the term spido. Okay, and suffix will be same number of hydrocarbon chains. Here in the square bracket, what you will do, you will write it in the numbers in ascending order, means smaller number to larger number. In bicyclic compound, what you wrote it from larger to smaller, and in spido compounds you will be writing it in such a way that you write from smaller to larger. Okay, means in ascending order. So this one is spido. In left hand side you have 3 carbons and right hand side 2, so it is spido 2,3 hexane. Okay, in smaller number will be first written, then larger number. Okay, in this second example, you see it is 6 member ring and 5 member ring. So first we will start numbering from the 5 member ring, means the smaller ring. Okay, means you start numbering always for spido compounds, you start numbering from the smaller ring. Okay, and bicyclic compounds we started numbering from the bridging carbon atoms. Okay, these 2 things you will remember. So this is spido. You have 4 carbons in this right hand side ring and 5 carbons in the left hand side ring. So it is spido 4,5, total 10 carbons. So deck. In 7 position you have this double bond, and in 1 position you have OH functional group. Okay, because you see we will start numbering from the this one, say smaller ring. So in smaller ring, whichever functional group is present will be given number 1. Okay, so if multiple bond is also present, then also it will be given number 1, and if functional group is present, then it's given as number 1. Okay, then this example, this is also very easy. You have spido 4,5, because smaller ring has 4 carbons and larger ring has 5 carbons. Okay, you don't consider this this one connected carbon. Okay, apart from this connected carbon, you see on both sides how many carbons are there. So this is 4,5 decane. Okay, this one you see the larger ring has the substituents, smaller ring does not have substituent. Okay, but in Spyro we know that we always start numbering from the smaller ring. So smaller ring you start numbering, it is 1 2 3, then it will be 4 for the carboxylic acid, 5 6 for the amine, and 7. Okay, so it is 6 amino. Now see, two functional groups are present. Okay, amino is a type 1 functional group, so it will always be written in prefix. So it is 6 amino. Then Spyro, on left hand side you have 2 carbons, this one, and right hand side you have 4 carbons. Okay, Spyro 2,4, total 7 carbons, so it is heptane. In 4th position you have a carboxylic acid, so it is heptanoic acid. Okay, so with this your IPC nomenclature for organic compounds is over. This pyro compounds, bicyclic compounds, and cyclic compounds are very important. You see, in exams you might not get directly questions from your straight chain compounds, but pyro and bicyclic compounds will be coming in your exams. Okay, so you just try to solve some examples or questions from this pyro and bicyclic compounds. And if you have any doubts, you can just post it, or you can ask me anytime. Okay, so with this your IPC nomenclature is over, and in the next video we'll be discussing about isomerism in organic compounds. Thank you.